Welcome to the Unsleever. It's been an exciting week as Brandy and Monica have announced a joint tour, which sadly won't come to Europe, or at least not for now, but I'm still excited about it, and I decided to do a singles ranking of Brandy. I have based it on personal taste, so don't come for me, and I would love to know your personal ranking, which you can leave in the comments. I have considered how much I like the song, but also factored in video, remixes, physical formats, and overall impact. As a note, I have only included singles where she was lead or co-lead, and have left out promo singles from early era. It's a bit confusing to tell what counts officially as a single and what doesn't, but in any case, I hope you enjoy the video. At number 33, I have to place Starting Now. I love that Brandy is never afraid to tap into different genres, but this dance track sounded DOA, that is, dated on arrival. So, not a big fan of it, despite Brandy sounding beautiful. I know this song got critical acclaim, but I could never get into begging and pleading. I think it's an interesting sound and production, and the fusion of genres with blues as a pillar to construct a song from is innovative, but I just cannot get into it. No Tomorrow was released as the third single of B7 in this remix version with Ty Dolla $ign. I personally prefer her solo version as I don't think he added much to it. This was released just as a digital single and got a couple of performances, but nothing more. Brandy's latest single at the time of this video, Christmas Party for Two, was released to promote her first Christmas album. It's a sweet and chill ballad, although her vocal production is a bit strange on this one. At number 29, the second single from Human, Long Distance. I always thought the cheesy production let this song down. The subject matter is quite relatable and melody is not bad at all, but that production is such a downer. I also think Human had much stronger ballads to release as singles. I mean, Fall was right there. The first single from B7, Baby Mama, is fun and catchy, and I'm actually a big fan of the production. It's one of Brandy's most colorful productions from the later years, and it was a great reintroduction after not releasing a studio album for 8 years. At number 27, Put It Down. I know this was a minor hit for her in the US, but the song doesn't quite hit it for me, although the video is pretty cool. I also don't know why Chris Brown is here. I'm not a fan of that man. Borderline was the second single taken from B7 and a personal favorite on the album. Some of the lyrics in the album were a bit cringe, and this song includes one of those lines I just can't get past every time I listen to it. But this sound fits Brandy's voice really well. The third and final single from Full Moon, He Is a gospel song disguised as an R&B ballad. I always thought this was an odd choice as a single for an album as strong as Full Moon, and although I have come to love it over the years, it was never among my favorites. Sadly, we only got a CD single with pop remixes, but no video or performances. Love Again was a single release for The Narcissus' second album, and it seems to be one of Brandy's most popular songs on streaming. Personally, it took a while to fully click, but I have come to appreciate it more. Another collaboration, this time with Tiwa Savage, in the Sweet Somebody song. I love this song and video. I think the Afrobeat sound fits Brandy really well, and the melody is really gorgeous. If you have seen my deep dive about the album Afrodisiac, you will know I don't love this song. It's linked below if you want to watch it. Who Is She To You is supposed to have all the elements to be a Brandy classic, but for me, it never quite hit the spot. However, I have softened up on it with time, and this vinyl edition includes some really good dance remixes. The second duet with Monica, It All Belongs To Me, was released to a lot of fanfare in 2012, and they promoted it heavily. I always liked it and thought it was, in a way, a continuation of the more pop-oriented sound of her album Human. Some of the lyrics are quite funny to me, like the log off your Facebook line. Overall, I was happy to have them work together again, and the song is fine, but it doesn't come anywhere near the greatness of The Boy's Mind. I don't think that was their intention anyway. This super collaboration for the Set It Off soundtrack was a highlight on it. Featuring Gladys Knight, Tamia, and Chaka Khan, it's one of those super dramatic 90s powerhouse ballads, and I'm 100% here for it. Set It Off was one of my favorite movies growing up, and this song always reminded me of that very sad ending. At number 19, the second single from 211, Wildest Dreams, seemed to want to recapture Brandy's 90s sound, and to be honest, I think it sits pretty well with her earlier material. The production hasn't aged as much as others on that album, and she sounds gorgeous on it. But well, when doesn't she sound gorgeous? Next up is her collaboration with Galant, Dynamite. I think this is one of the best ballads she has released in the past years, and their voices sound beautiful together. Also loved the apocalyptic video. The first single from the 90s to appear on this ranking is Best Friend, which got released on vinyl with a generic sleeve and includes a few remixes. I love how funky the album version sounds. The character R&B and rockapella beatbox mixes brings it to a more hip-hop space, and it works just as well, but I wish she would have re-recorded her vocals for these remixes. I wasn't sure whether to include Everything I Do It For You, but since it had a physical release, I went for it. This cover of Bryan Adams' classic is gorgeous and was an early highlight for me on Never Say Never. Her Divas live performance with Faith Hill is one of my favorites from Brandy. Top of the World was the second single release from Never Say Never, and despite loving the album version with Maze, I prefer the re-sung Part 2 club mix with Fat Joe and Big Pun. It samples Ahmad's classic back in the day and makes me wonder if this is possibly one of the most sampled songs in R&B music. Also included in this vinyl edition is the Boogie Soul Club remix, which takes the original version and transforms it into a smooth, vibey song. Broken Hearted was included as a solo version on her debut album, but it was released as a single in its duet version with Wanya Morris from Boyz II Men. I always preferred this version with a different production. It is such a sweet ballad. Brandy sounds so innocent and beautiful, an absolute classic. The lead single for Afrodisiac was produced and featuring Kanye West, and it was such a departure in sound for her. I remember not loving it when it first came out, but I ended up loving it when the album came out. This vinyl edition includes one of my favorite remixes from her, the One Rascal remix. At number 12, this super hit from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, Sitting Up in My Room, was released in 1995, and it's closer in sound to her first album than her second. I love it. I think it's one of her classics, and the video is also one of her most memorable. On this edition, the remixes feature LL Cool J. I love the production on the remixes, but once again, would have loved new vocals from Brandy. Another Day in Paradise was a duet with her brother Ray J, released for the compilation Urban Renewal, which had R&B and hip-hop artists covering songs from Phil Collins. That album was my bread and butter for months. This was the lead single and was a huge hit in Europe. It was inescapable at the time. I have always had a soft spot for it, and this vinyl edition comes with a Stargate remix, also very good. Opening the top 10 with another classic, Baby from her debut album. I love this song, one of her catchiest hooks. The single comes packed with goodies. Instrumental and a cappella aside, the All Stars party mix almost challenges the original for me, and also included is the iconic I Wanna Be Down remix with Queen Latifah, MC Lyte and Yo-Yo. The title track from Afrodisiac was the first time we saw Brandy embrace her more sensual side. It was heavily promoted in Europe, more than any of the other singles from the album, and I loved it from the first time I heard it. Brandy glides over Timbaland's production masterfully. The vinyl edition includes the amazing B-side, Sirens. The gorgeous Have You Ever is at number 8. This is one of Brandy's biggest hits and the mandatory Diane Warren, Debbie Foster power ballad that most 90s acts have in their catalog. The vinyl edition comes with a remix that is not too bad, but I prefer the album version. You Don't Know Me Like You Used To is probably one of her most underrated singles. I remember buying the single on CD and playing it constantly. It comes packed with good stuff. First, the recent remix with Shonda and Da Brat feels like a completely different song. Secondly, the smooth jazz animal remix of Never Say Never that was released as a promo single. I am also a big fan of the music video. At number 6, I would put the lead single of Full Moon, What About Us. This is probably her hardest hitting production with permission from I Thought. This sound was such a shock after the smooth melodies of Never Say Never, but it was definitely welcome. I love that with the Simon Vegas remix, they tried to recreate the Never Say Never sound, I guess to not alienate too much. It's a great version, but the original is such a triumph, and paired with a music video, it's one of her best singles. A fun fact I always like to mention is that Björk is actually a big fan of the song and used to include it in her DJ sets years ago. Okay, this one hurts a bit. I don't know who do I have to blame for not making this song a huge hit. It had it all, a comeback story, the vocals, the lyrics, great remixes, a great inspirational video, and the narrative of Brandy working with Dogchild again after a long time. I will always write hard for Right Here Departed, and in this household this song was #1 for 20 weeks. I got this promo vinyl that also includes Long Distance, and up until the time of this video it's the only chance to listen to it on vinyl. It's time for a human vinyl release. At number 4, I would place the song that started it all, I Wanna Be Down. This song always puts a smile on my face and it's such a bop. I think I love it more as time goes by. Also love the simplicity of the single cover, and this vinyl edition comes with a Cool Out remix, which is cool, but I still prefer the album version. Opening the top 3, another classic, Full Moon. I feel like this song was instantly loved by everyone. It's still so timeless, and the vocal is immaculate and really showcases Brandy's uniqueness as a vocalist. For the physical releases, they commissioned a bunch of different remixes. The highlight is the Cat, Father and Joe remix that was promoted in Europe. I think I may love them both equally, although the album version gets an edge over the remix. Also on the vinyl edition, 2 great dance remixes and Die Without You with Ray J as a B-side. At number 2, the song that I discovered her with, The Boy Is Mine. Is this the best duet ever made? Well, I don't know, but it sure is my favorite. I'm not sure I can add anything that hasn't already been said about this song. It's an absolute classic, it has aged amazingly, and personally it introduced me to 2 artists I would go on to love for many years to come. The tracklist on the single is a bit boring and doesn't include the great resound remix of Brandy, this time on her own, featuring Shanta. And my number 1, my forever favorite, Almost Doesn't Count. This was a favorite from the first time I held the Never Say Never CD on my hands, although I have to say Angel in Disguise was up there as well, but this song has continuously been with me and I find it so soothing. The lyrics are somewhat heartbreaking, but there is a sense of peace in the feeling of, well, it is what it is. I really connect to it. I also love the music video and the remixes they released. This vinyl edition has a few remixes, with my personal highlights being the DJ Premier and Pool remixes. And that's it for my Brandy singles ranking. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed doing it. Don't forget to check out my other rankings if you like this type of content, and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Thanks for watching, see you next time.